Thank you, members, for your patience. It's exactly 11:05 a.m. We'll start our training today. My name is Elizabeth Wanja. I'm the Brand Marketing and Communications Officer here at Octagon Africa, and I will be your moderator for this session. So I'd like to let you know that this meeting is being recorded. We usually record it so that we can be able to upload it to our YouTube channel. And if you want to go back and revisit whatever you've learned, you'll be able to find this training there. Our YouTube channel is at Octagon Africa. So I thank you once again for joining us this wonderful Friday morning. Before I take much more of your time, allow me to give a brief introduction as to who we are. So we are Octagon Africa Financial Services Limited, established in 2007. We are celebrating 18 years. We are celebrating our 18 years anniversary this year, and we are headquartered in Kenya, and we have subsidiaries in Zambia, Uganda, and Tanzania. And we deal with four strategic divisions, which are pension administration, insurance brokerage, trust services, training, and actuarial consultancy services. So this training that we are having today is part of our training arm and also backs our vision, which is to enrich lives through innovative financial services and solutions. And our mission is to safeguard the financial future of our customers through lifelong learning, risk management, and retirement solutions. I know our able speaker will be able to speak more about who we are, but I'm very grateful to all of us who have joined, those who are members, those who are not yet members. I know you have an idea as to who we are. So I don't want to take much of the speaker's time, but allow me to just give a brief introduction on our speaker today. So she is Shakila Ochara. She has been with Octagon for the past 5 years, and she is a business development executive, and she has a strong background in pre-retirement training and financial wellness, and she has helped many people secure their financial futures. I know she's a very engaging speaker, so you have a lot to learn from her today. I don't want to preempt Shakila, so allow me to hand over the session to you, members. We'll have the question and answer session after Shakila's presentation, so you can be able to type in your questions in the chat section, and she will be able to address them once she's done with her presentation. So thank you very much, members, for joining and for also being patient with us. Shakila, without much further ado, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for the introduction. Good morning, members. So today we're going to actually just talk about the financial planning for the young professionals, of course, for tips for the remainder of the year. So allow me share my screen. Please confirm if you can actually see my screen, Elizabeth.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. Okay, so Elizabeth has actually touched on who we are as a people. And Octagon Pension Services Limited is a subsidiary of Octagon Financial Services Limited, is an award-winning leading regional financial services company. We deal with actually both non-profit and public sector. We pride ourselves in pension administration. We actually have schemes that we're actually doing administration, both corporate and also umbrella. We do insurance brokerage. What this means that we act as an intermediary to ensure that we have actually secured the products from the underwriters. We also do training. This is part of the training, and of course, actuarial services. So today, what you're going to learn: financial wellness, budgeting, investment option, then tax smart strategies, How can we manage our debt? Then, of course, the last will just be question and answer. So, importance of financial wellness. Um, why should we actually take this section very important? It's because once you have actually known how to manage your finances, you will actually not have any sort of stress. Financial worries can be stressful and distracting, impacting your overall well-being. But once you've actually planned yourself well, you know how to budget, then it will actually reduce stress. It creates also freedom, financial freedom, because you know um, you have invested your funds well, so you are actually secured in terms of freedom. So you do not have to worry when you want even to take a trip, because you have budgeted well, you have invested well, you have invested your finances well, you actually become financially independent. Then it also improves quality of life. Once you are actually, you have actually invested in financial portfolios that are actually suited best for you, you will have peace of mind. You'll not have any sort of stress. You'll actually be able to know, how am I going to plan this? Maybe you want to actually to take up even you're planning to actually start building. You will have a peace of mind because you have planned yourself well. You have invested in portfolios that are well suited for you. You have learned early enough, how am I going to invest my money? Then security, it acts as a security, because one of the security in terms of investment is even pension. You have invested in pension, so when it comes even to retirement, you are well assured that I've actually been investing in a pension pot for all this while. So when it comes to accumulation of benefits, you are able to actually buy an annuity or an income drawdown that will actually serve you for life, and it will be able to streamline your income as you also as you have retired. So this is actually financial life journey, 0 to 22 years. This is a dependent learner. This is where you're actually getting into school. You're born, so you're trying to acquire knowledge. 22 to 30, you're actually a young adult. You have completed your A levels, university. Now you are actually in your career path. So here it's where you actually either umeandikwa or you are into business. So you have started actually accumulating wealth. Okay, here it's also where you actually are supposed to get married, but in the current generation, things have really changed. So most of the time, you will realize that maybe 22 to 30, most people will not actually maybe get married, but it is advised that you get married early, so that even when it comes to planning for your finances, you have actually put your house in order. Then 30 to 35, it's focus stage. It's family, career focus. If you're actually going to do masters, you now understand what you're actually doing in terms of even your career path, in terms even of building up wealth. The journey that you're actually taking. So you are really fully aware. You're fully aware. You're very much fully aware of what you're actually taking in terms of career. You have work that you're doing, or either you have ventured into business and that fund is actually assisting you. And 35 to 40, this is now accumulation. It's a stage where you accumulate wealth. So here, you're supposed to have a house. You should start building your house as early as within this stage, 35 to 40 years of age. Um, in terms of even your finances, you really understand, what am I doing with these finances? You have your life insurance. When it comes even to education policy, you have actually secured it. When it comes to building your emergency fund, you're already well equipped. Then 40 to 50, it's actually excellence. You are now enjoying the fruits of your hard work from 22 to 30 up to here. Now your money is now working for you. Why? Because you had taken up, you had made decisions that are well suited for you, and you are not actually swayed by, the fear of missing out and all that. You are now intact. Now here, you've already built your house. When it comes to pension, you have already invested even in pension. When it comes to education and master in terms of even career path, you're well equipped. Then 50 to 75, we call it bliss because here you have retired. So the money that you had invested in pension, the life insurance that you had taken up, it is now working for you. So the pension that you had invested now, here it is now converted either into an annuity or you'll actually purchase an income drawing. But I think that is when it comes to pre-retirement training, we'll do that training later on. But most of the time in the current study, 50 to 75 will realize they're struggling. Why? Because they never made ample decision early enough. But I believe with this training, we are going to impact this knowledge, and it is not only going to be in terms of dopamine levels that, oh, you're going to take up this, but you're not going to act. So it is important. Once you have learned something, let us implement it so that when you get to 50, we shouldn't have worries of, oh, I need also to again take another job. No, here it's whereby money should be working for you. Then above 75, it's actually appreciation, life of good planning. So you're just here in terms of your social capital, you're interacting with your grandkids, you're well equipped when it comes to your finances, you are financially free. So I think the journey here, this financial life journey, is to just show you that even as you are actually going through this training, you should look at yourself and ask yourself, where am I at? Am I, maybe you are actually a young adult. Are you really in your career path? Are you trying to accumulate wealth? Are you trying to make decision that is going to suit best for you so that when you get to 50 at retirement, you're not going to be worrisome? Okay. Yeah. Then you go to financial freedom, money. So what are your streams of money? So this one, it can either be business or salary if you're employed. Then are you accountable? Once you get money, can you be able to account for it, how it has been used? Or you're one person, pesa ikiingia, ikifika tarehe tano unashindwa hata pesa ilienda wapi. Ikifika tarehe tano of the month, you're one person who is now getting into debts. Can you account for every coin of your income? So it is very important, and that's why budgeting will come in after this, that once you actually get the money, either it's through salary or through business, it's important that you account for every shilling. You should account for even the trips that you want to take when it comes to budgeting, that should be included. Even the little things like buying small cha, you should actually have planned for it prior, so that you are not that person that in case the money has come into your pocket, then the next thing you're like, hata mi sijui pesa imeisha aje. Okay, so it is very prudent to plan early and to actually have a good relationship with money. Okay, then management, it comes in. We talk about how do you manage your finances once you have it, right? Do you actually invest it in money market funds? Do you have an endowment policy? It's a type of life insurance policy. It can actually act as an estate planning. In case something happens to you today, are your dependents safe? Or you're one person who believes that the society will take that responsibility? Have you invested your money? Have you built your emergency fund that in case something happens to you, then you do not have to struggle for the next 6 months? What is your attitude towards money? Are you that person that once a million hits into your account, then you really do not know what to do? Every time you'll just be passing, through the bank because ni kama pesa inakuita. Or are you that person that when it comes to, now that we are heading to the festive season, you like the mkubwa mentality? the chafua meza mentality kind of person. It is important to have a good attitude with money so that you know how to manage it. So that even if a 10 million cash, hits your account, you will not be one person. You can't even sit on a couch. Why? Because you have so much money on your account. And how does it start? It starts by managing the little that you have. You have to have a positive attitude towards money. Money should not control you. It should be the other way around. Okay? Then we go to a relationship. I think I've touched it, even the attitude. It's just good to have a good relationship with money so that it doesn't, control you. Contentment. It's very much key. I think I'll just ask one question when I'm speaking about the contentment. Do we build wealth by earning more or by saving more? I think you can type in the chat. I'll check in later. Do we build wealth on earning more or saving more? It is important to be contented where you are right now. Whatever finances that you have, any streams of money that comes into your account, make use of it. Be contented. Don't try to, be an impulse buyer, because this impulsive will later cost you in life. So whatever you have, if it's 25K, please budget it well to suit your needs, and don't want more of what you can't. Something that is a want, it is not, something that is satisfiable. So it is important to look first at your needs and ensure that you satisfy the needs, and don't live by the formal mentality. I think I've repeated that enough, and I believe because I'm talking to the younger generation, you understand. But what it entirely means is that fear of missing out. So every Friday you are out, even though maybe that is not your principal code, you'd like to go with your peers. It's okay to say no, so that you also save more, so that in the future the money works for you. Don't be like the people you have seen. You don't have to be an experience. The experience is always at the next door. So it's important to be contented with what you earn, and make sure that you budget it to fit your needs. And what you can't, it's okay to say no. Yes, then we have budget and expense management. It is important to actually budget. A budget helps you track your income and expenses, identify areas for savings, and make informed financial decisions. Why should you budget? It helps you to track your income, record all sources of income, including salary, investment, and other earnings. So if you're on salary, please record it. Or if you're actually in business, you can also do that. Then identify savings opportunities, analyze your spending habits, identify areas where you can cut back and allocate savings. So what is not important, you can always just cut it. Yeah, if for example, you wanted a new shoe, a brand shoe, but you have enough shoes, you can always cut it. Then you can plan later to actually buy it. Then you have to categorize your expenses, divide your expenses into essential needs, wants, and discretionary spending. So needs have to come first, then wants, because wants is just, those things that you really want but are really not that important. So classify them first at needs, then wants, then discretionary spending. Then you have to review your budget regularly, so that it should reflect on your goals and financial situation as at now. Yeah, you can actually, there are many budgeting tools and apps. So there's one for Mint, a comprehensive app that tracks your spending, analyzes your finances, and helps you set goals. And then there is also You Need a Budget, focuses on zero-based budgeting, where you allocate every dollar of your income to a specific category. We have a Personal Capital, which offers financial planning tools, investment management and retirement planning resources. Then you do have pocket get. But I think right now, with the way technology is, there's even more budgeting tools. So it's important to choose a budgeting tools that suits your needs. Okay. What to remember in a budget? It is important to live within your means. If you can't, I think I can just use maybe if for example, whatever the streams of income can allow you to live maybe along Wayaki way, but you want to live in Kilelesho and Kilimani, please, it's important to live within your means. You're not here to make everyone happy, so it is important to actually live within your means. Make a list of your income streams and monthly expenses. I've mentioned it even before. Your salary, your business income. It's important to make a list when you're actually budgeting. Then group your expenses into needs and wants. So needs are more important, like they're the basic needs, like, food, water, shelter, the bills that we actually pay every month. So it's important to actually put it in your budget. The wants, it's something that you can always actually delay it. So it is not that of essential. But it is important to actually just put it, if you can actually, for example, what you wanted this time is maybe to buy, I'll just use maybe a beautiful dress, and maybe you have another dress. You can always actually postpone that, prepare a budget that suits you. Start now, if not yesterday. It's important that once you have gained knowledge, just start it. Procrastination is your enemy. The moment you actually earn and then you plan to use the money, then budget later, that will not even work, because most of the time the expenses will always come. The responsibilities are always there. So it is important to budget. So anything that is out of your budget, you can always push it to the next month. Okay? Your expenses define you. How you actually use your money defines you. And it is important not to be reckless when you're actually doing budgeting. It's important to look out for yourself. It is important to save before you actually start using the cash. It's very important. Okay. Yeah, savings and compounding interest. Saving is crucial for financial security, and compounding interest is a powerful tool for growing your savings over time. So when you actually start investing, the initial deposit, it earns interest. Then there's the compounding interest effect. Then it actually, over time, your savings grow significantly through compounding interest, creating financial security for the future. Then we do have investment options. We do have government bonds, are considered relatively low risk investment as they are backed by the government. They offer a fixed rate of return under maturity date. Then treasury bills, they're short-term debt security, typically maturing in less than a year. Treasury bonds, long-term debt security with maturities of more than a year. I think the recent that was actually open was it is in infrastructure bonds for 15 years at an interest rate of 12%. So it's always important to be on the lookout. Yes, but this time it's not 10, it's actually for 15 years. So those are actually investment options that you can venture into early enough. Okay. Then you do have money market funds. It's actually short term, low risk, because the main of money market funds, it's capital reservation, as you also enjoy high interest. When it comes to liquidity, it's actually very easy, because within 3 days, for example, if you've actually just notified your money market provider, and you want to actually liquidify your assets, it actually just takes 3 days for you to access. Then variable returns. Currently, Averagely, it is performing at 12%. So returns on money market funds can fluctuate based on prevailing interest rates. I remember back then, it's very important to know your risk tolerance. I think maybe at around, it was around 21, I think, around 25 when I was 25. I tried the balance fund. So I invested in balance fund. And then I realized, because we are just from the COVID year, so the market was not performing so well. So I did get a negative return on the balance fund, because of the market environment during that time. So from then I realized that I'm a conservative investor. So I'd rather invest in money market funds. And it is important to know your risk tolerance early enough, because if you do not try these things, you'll not start trying it at 50. This is the time to actually venture into this investment option. So you cannot wait until a certain age, because the more you procrastinate, the more there are changes. Nothing even actually, it doesn't make it much better for you. So it is important to actually venture into this investment option. And as Octagon Africa, we always here to advise you on what to actually venture into. So money market funds can actually be a good when it comes to even building your emergency fund, and here your capital is reserved as you enjoy the high returns. On the other hand, balance fund, it is not on capital preservation, but it is good to actually know your risk tolerance. For me, I knew that I can never invest in that, but I think maybe later I'll try to again reinvest into balance fund. But I knew I would rather have my capital reserved, as I also enjoy the high return. So it is important to know your risk tolerance. How do you know this? By actually practicing it and investing into these investment options. Then we also have equity stocks. Investing in equity stocks allows investors to own a portion of a company. So we do have growth stock, we have value stock and dividend stocks. So in growth stock, company expected to grow their earnings rapidly, potentially offering high returns, but also greater risks. So it's high, the returns for growth stocks are very high, but when it comes to risk, it's also high. Then on value stocks, companies that are undervalued relative to their intrinsic worth, offering the potential for appreciation as the value is recognized. On dividend stocks, companies that pay regular dividends to shareholders, providing a steady stream of income. So this is also another portfolio that you can also venture into. Yes, then we go to debt management and reduction. Debts are actually good. It's only bad when you actually take a debt without planning. You can't just wake up and go and secure maybe a loan without a plan. So it is okay to have a debt, but the question is, why are you taking up that why are you securing that loan facility? So it is important to really know, if you're going to go for a loan facility, what are the plans? Is it going to appreciate it? Is it going to make me grow? Some people will venture into loan because they want to, just upgrade their education. Maybe they want to venture into masters. Some will take it up because they want to have to buy land and to build, that is still okay. I think the only issue is it's important to really know, why am I securing this loan facility? And can I pay it later? Or will it actually be more stressful? So it is important before you actually get into a loan facility. Plan well, know why you want to actually have a loan facility, then you can actually go for it. So first, create a debt plan, list all your debts. If you have already debts, list all your debts, including the amount owed, interest rate, and minimum payments. Then you should also prioritize debts, focus on reducing high interest debts first, such as credit cards or payday loans. So when you're actually paying the debts, there's this avalanche methods where you actually pay the high interest debts, then as you now go for the low interest debts, which is snowball. Then debt reduction strategies, consider options like debt consolidation. Can consolidate your debts, or you can even do balance transfer, or you can even buy off loan. Okay, then avoid further debt. Once you have reduced your debt, take steps to avoiding accumulating more debt in the future. If it is not important, you don't have to actually take up the loan facility. You can always just choose to avoid it if it is not important. Okay. Yeah. Why should you build an emergency fund? Unexpected expenses, in case maybe of job loss or medical emergencies or car repairs. It will actually help you to actually pay off. Then financial stability. A well-funded emergency fund provides peace of mind and financial stability, reducing stress and anxiety during challenging times. So it is important to build up an emergency fund. How do we do this? You can actually join a money market fund and actually just, that's another way of actually building your emergency fund. Then why should you also build an emergency fund? To avoid debt. We get into debt because we do not have any sources of income. But once you have an emergency fund, then you do not have to actually go into debt. Okay. Yeah, then we go to retirement planning and pension contribution. It is important to start saving early for your retirement. We will not be strong for the rest of our lives. And as Octagon Africa, we do have an Octagon Personal Pension Scheme and Distawishe pension scheme that you can actually start saving as low as 1,000. So the more you start early, the more you are able to accumulate wealth at the end of the retirement. So it is important to start saving into your retirement. And we should also avoid the traditional mindset of that, if I take up a life insurance policy, someone can kill me. That does not stand out. We have to change such narrative because life insurance policy can act as asset planning. If you do not want a whole life insurance policy, then you can actually take up an endowment policy, which is payable at the end of the policy term or at the point of death. Okay, then when it comes to pensions contribution, if you're actually employed, have you ever interacted with their member statement? Ama hiyo story ya pre-retirement training and AGM are only for older people. It is important to really know, what am I contributing into? How is the fund performing in our pension scheme? If you're actually employed, if you're in business, please actually secure an individual pension plan. As I've mentioned before, we do have such plans as Octagon Africa. Another way you can actually maximize in terms of just accumulating wealth and increasing your pensionable earnings later on is actually to do an added voluntary contribution into your pension schemes. You cannot start later, you can only start now. And I can attest from working with retirees over the period, I have seen people who had planned themselves earlier. When they come to retire, they're happy, and sometimes even some will actually defer, their pensionable, their pension amount rather, so that they take it up later in the next 5 years because they're liquid. But I've also seen people who never invested in their wee years of life, and they do have maybe 1 million as their total accumulation benefit, and someone has worked for the next 30 years, and they have 1 million, and maybe this person has been earning around 150 or 200,000. And study says income replacement ratio, you should replace at least 60% of your last gross salary. So for instance, if you've been earning 100,000 at the point of retirement at 50, you should replace 60 over 100, which is 60,000. That will make you live comfortably. Because the assumption is here, your kids have already gone to school. So that is just more of a pocket change, and it will be sustainable to you. So it is important to start investing at the wee years of your employment when you are still young. Okay, so that at the point of retirement, you should not be the person who comes and gets angry at people. You still want to go back to employment. And that time it should be a bliss season. It should be a bliss season. Okay, because one thing about even when you actually invest in pension, there are tax exemption benefit. If you invest up to 30,000, the 30,000 amount will be exempted from tax. So that's how actually you escape the punitive taxation. Okay. Investment options: diversify your retirement investment to manage risk and potentially achieve higher returns with the option like stocks, of course, bond and real estate. Currently, real estate is performing at 4%, so it's not really encouraging. But that is also another investment option that you can actually venture into. Yeah, conclusion and next steps. By implementing the strategies outlined in the presentation, you can take control of your financial future and build a solid foundation for financial wellness. One, we've talked about budgeting. Track your income and expenses to ensure you are spending within your means. Secondly, saving. Develop a savings plan and consistently contribute to your savings goal. What is your next 5-year goal, financial goal? Where would you want to be in the next 5 years? Then make sure that as you save, let it also reflect your 5-year plan. Investing. Explore investment options to grow your wealth and build a secure financial future. Then retirement planning. Start planning for retirement early and make consistent contributions to your pension. This is the moment you can actually do extreme voluntary contribution into your pension scheme if you're actually employed. If you are not, we do have those plans. We will even just leave my email address so that you can reach out so that you can advise further. This is the time that you can actually venture into that. This is the time you can know your risk tolerance when it comes to even investment options. Are you conservative or are you aggressive kind of person? You can only know it right now. Okay. This one wasn't actually part of the presentation, but I felt it is wise for me to actually share where we are as at now. So this is a study that was done by Retirement Benefits Authority. Retirement Benefits Authority regulates pension scheme, and they also look after your interest as long as you are actually contributing into a pension scheme. So as of 2023, very few retirees live comfortably. Those who went back to working at 31%, those who are dependent on relatives, 47%. So here it's where black tax comes in handy. So we are living in a generation whereby we are the people we are saying that will not actually give a hand to, of course, the older generation. I believe it's either the boomer and the baby boomer that this studies was done. But in the next 20 years, you'll also be 40s or 50s. So the question is, where are you right now? Are you planning yourself well? Or are we going to still have the same pie chart, right? Then those who are dependent on pension are 16%. So these are people who are actually investing their pension money, and they're actually getting a streamlined income from either an annuity or an income drawdown. Those who are financially independent are 6%. So we're actually doing badly, but I believe because the other generation, they didn't have this knowledge at their disposal, but now we do have. So it is important to save early enough, to invest in the pension, to to build the emergency fund so that in case something happens, you're not stranded. So the ball is now on our court to change this pie chart so that financially independent should reach 47%. Okay, so that we should actually live in a dignified life. We should live a dignified life at the end of retirement. In closing, it is always tradition that, we get the questions. That is okay. But I think for me, I would like today to just pose a challenge. If something happens to you now, are you dependent safe? If you're married, are you dependent safe? Have you secured a life insurance? Because life insurance, they do have riders like critical illness. Are you investing in pension? If you're in business, why not take up an individual pension plan and contribute the same? If you lose your job or your business goes under, can you live comfortably for the next 6 months? Now here, it's where emergency fund comes, the money market fund, the balance fund. Okay. We talk about financial wellness, but we cannot talk about financial wellness without health. So are you really living a healthy life? Are you eating healthy? Are you exercising? Because when all is said and done, you have actually, you're financially literate, everything is okay, but your health is deteriorating. Still, we won't say that we have achieved. So it is important to eat healthy, to actually work out, and abstain from, the intakes of harmful drugs, so that at the end, because every decision you make right now, in the next 2 decades, it will play a big role. You can't say that, let me just do these things right now. Then when I get to 40s, I'll stop. No, it doesn't start. Discipline starts early. So you have to discipline yourself. You have to hold yourself to your principle code, and we cannot only talk about financial wellness without talking about health. So it's important also to keep your health in check. Okay, don't be one person once Friday. And today it's a very good day because it's on Friday. So Friday is always Members' Day. So it's important. Even as we live, it's very important to make crucial decisions that will serve us in the next future and in the next generation. Okay. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm coming to the end. I believe that you have actually learned something, and I believe that you're going to implement that knowledge practically. And in case you have maybe any concerns and you want to venture into any sort of investment option, I'll also just maybe type in my email address so that we can converse further. That is all for today. Thank you so much. My name is Shakila Ochara. Back to you, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shakila, for that insightful presentation and that call back to reality. So, members, we have a couple of minutes before our meeting ends. So, if you have a question, kindly raise your hand. I can be able to unmute you, or you can type it in the chat section. Let's engage any question you may have for Shakila while we have her here today. If you're there and you have a question, you can raise your hand. I'll be able to unmute you and we can also hear from you. Boniface says, thank you. Very insightful presentation. Thank you very much, Boniface, for your feedback. Members, any question? Grace says, thank you for the presentation. Thank you, Grace. Evelyn Odoyo says, thank you, Shakila. Very educative session. Any clarifications? Anyone who needs a clarification from what has been shared today? Uh, okay, I see Joshua. Let me unmute you. So Joshua, you can be able to unmute yourself from your end and ask your question.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Now, my question is regards to the where you have you have various insurance schemes, and you want to merge them to be one. Do you normally do that?
Sorry, Joshua, I think just repeat your question.
My question concerns whereby you might have a various pension scheme.
Mm-hmm.
For example, might have a Jubilee, Canada. Then, do you normally allow margin to one? Because I think also I'm a member of Octave.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
used to work maybe in Canada and the
Yes.
insurance that you have mentioned. Yeah. You can actually consolidate the funds to
Yeah.
the current employer that you are in, or we can
Mm,
actually open an IPP account from our end
yeah.
as Octagon Africa. So
Yeah.
we'll just, I think what we'll do, maybe I'll just share in my email address so that
Yeah.
we can share the letter to you so
Yeah.
that you present it to the HR. Then we
Yeah.
can consolidate it in our Octagon personal pension scheme. Then you are able to actually view how the fund is performing.
So, what other document do you need for such? For example, for the previous pension scheme?
I think what you need is that your ID. We'll actually share
And
the application form with you,
mm,
and also we'll also share the sample letter of just
mm,
transfers that will actually present it to your former employers.
mm,
Yeah, then with that, after you are filled, then we'll just because also the sample letter also has the account details to be for your funds to be transferred to.
mm,
I think
mm,
after that it will just be okay because you'll fill the application form from
mm,
our OPPA's application form.
mm,
And then you'll attach your KRA PIN,
mm,
your ID, of course,
mm.
plus the bank details. But I'll just leave my email address so that you can converse
Yeah.
further.
Okay, that should be fine for me.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
are there any benefit for the same?
Yeah, there are benefits because you see, when you consolidate your funds, you know how your fund is performing. Another
Mm,
thing is even the high return. And
mm,
as Octagon Africa, we also have a pension administration system. So when it comes to even accessing your member statement, you're able to actually just view your statement on how the fund is performing. So that is
mm.
advantageous when you consolidate your funds into one account.
Yeah, that's been good for me. I'll be able to get in touch with you personally.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
Thank you for that, Joshua. So we have a question from Boniface who's asking, can you lose cash in the money market fund?
No, Boniface, you can't lose your cash in a money market fund because it is actually regulated by Capital Markets Authority. and of course Central Bank of Kenya. But another thing that we should be cautious about before investing in any money market fund. It is important to look at the stability of that the insurance company. Secondly, how long has it been there, because you can't just invest in the money market funds that tend to actually just skyrocket when it comes to their high return. So it's very important. And I think that's why we are here. We'll advise you accordingly, but you cannot lose your funds in a money market fund as long as you have invested in a money market fund that is actually reliable and it's stable and it's regulated.
The next question is from Muhammad. He's asking, do you have any plan to introduce Sharia compliant investments? Allow me to answer this, Shakila. Yes, we do. There's something in the works, and you'll be able to get an announcement from us very soon. So keep up with us. Keep up with our social media channels for that announcement. We'll also be able to advise on email. So Abdi says, much insights from the session. Keep up the good work. Then we have Semakula saying, thank you for the presentation. So Caroline also says, thank you, Shakila. Good diversified financial presentation. Another one from Mosula also saying, amazing presentation. All right. So I see Chris has his hand up. So Chris, you can be able to unmute yourself from your end. And then Semakula, you will do the final question, then we can end the session. So Chris? Okay, if Chris is not able to unmute himself, Semakula? Okay, Chris, you're with us? Hello,
Yeah.
yes, Chris, yes.
So my question is just, I was asking about education policy and investment policy. Which one is the most viable for young professionals like us?
Okay. For education policy comes in handy when you actually have a dependent who is a child that you want to invest in education policy so that when the child comes of age and he or she wants to start now going to school, then the policy will actually pay when it comes to school fees and all that. So it is dependent. If you have a kid and you want to invest in an education policy, you can actually invest in an education policy. And then for a young professional, if you do not have a kid, I think you can actually invest in a money market fund because the initial capital is 5,000, then the top up is 1,000, but that doesn't limit you. You can actually even invest more in that so that you actually enjoy high returns. Okay, so you can take up an education policy and also still have a money market fund. You shouldn't limit yourself. Another thing, Chris, if I'm not wrong, I don't know if it's Chris or Semakula, but you can also take up an endowment policy, which is payable at the end of the policy term or at the point of death. Thank you.
Thank you, Shakila, for that. I hope, Chris, your question has been answered. Semakula, let's hear from you.
Good morning, team.
Good morning.
Thanks for the opportunity. First and foremost, allow me to introduce myself. I'm a student from Makerere University, Kampala, as well as a former intern at Octagon Uganda Finance Services. Particularly, I was learning pension management. So my question is, like, we students, we are not yet in the employment industry. We are still learning. So I would like to be guided on how I can start my savings. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Semakula, for introduction and the zeal to just start investing in pension. I think what we'll do, as you've said, our office is also in Uganda, so we'll get in touch with you to just guide on the same on how you can actually start investing. But as I'd said, an individual pension plan for Octagon Africa, you can start from saving as low as 1,000 Kenyan shilling consistently, either monthly or quarterly or semi-annually, depending on how liquid you are. Another thing, I think maybe Liz would just, if you can get in touch with Semakula, so that we can even just direct him to Octagon offices so that he can start he can sign up for the pension plan.
Definitely. He says he has also been an intern there, so it's good to have you here, Semakula. Aside from pension, I think he also wanted to know what type of investments can he get into as a student.
Okay, as a student.
Yes.
Money market can still do, Semakula. You can actually venture into money market funds. So the initial payment, I think maybe just check with Uganda, but initial payment here, it's actually 5,000. Then consistently you just top up. And the funds, when it comes to money market, there's capital reservation. So you actually ensure that your capital is preserved and you also enjoy high returns. So you can actually venture into that in terms of savings, and you can also start saving for your pension early enough. So I think those two will actually be very prudent for you as at now. Elizabeth.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Shakila. It's now 12:01, 1 minute past. I really want to thank you again for taking your time and taking us through this presentation. It was very insightful. For those who are requesting for the presentation, we'll also share it with you on email since you gave us your email while you were registering, and we'll also share a link to this training when we'll upload it on YouTube. I know someone, Amos, you wanted your statement. Please kindly write to support@octagonafrica.com. They'll be able to ask you what they need from you, and you can be able to get your statement. So members, also thank you very much for joining us this Friday. I want to wish you a lovely weekend. May God bless you and may God keep you, and see you on the next one. We usually hold these webinars every month, so be on the lookout for the next announcement, and we'll be happy to have you here again. So thank you so much. God bless you. Have a lovely day and a lovely weekend.